So let me ask you something. When was the last time you saw something handmade that literally made you stop scrolling? I'm talking about that moment where your thumb just freezes on the screen because what you're looking at is so intricate, so detailed, that you can't believe it was made by human hands. That's what we're diving into today. And trust me, some of these pieces are going to blow your mind. Here's the thing about crochet that most people completely miss. They think it's just about making blankets or maybe a simple scarf. But what's actually happening in the crochet world right now is almost unbelievable. Artists are creating three-dimensional sculptures, wedding dresses that cost more than a car, and decorative pieces that museums are starting to collect. Yeah, you heard that right, museums. But there's a massive problem that these artists face, and it's something that's been holding back the entire craft for decades. People just don't value handmade work the way they should. Someone sees a crocheted item and thinks, oh, that's nice, maybe I'll pay 20 bucks for it. Meanwhile, that same piece took 40 hours to create. Do the math on that, it's insane. These artists are literally working for less than minimum wage because people don't understand the skill, the time, and the absolute dedication that goes into every single stitch. Let me break down what actually goes into creating one of these beautiful pieces, because once you understand the process, you'll never look at crochet the same way again. First, there's the design phase. The artist has to visualize what they want to create, and unlike painting or drawing where you can sketch it out easily, with crochet, you're working in 3 dimensions with yarn. You have to understand tension, you have to know how different stitches will create different textures, and you have to calculate exactly how many stitches you need to make the shape you're imagining. Then comes choosing the materials. And this isn't just grabbing any yarn from the craft store. Professional crochet artists spend hours, sometimes days, selecting the perfect yarn for their project. They're thinking about fiber content, weight, color, how it drapes, how it feels, whether it'll hold its shape over time. Some of these specialty yarns cost $30 or $40 for a single skein, and a large project might need 20 or 30 skeins. We're talking about significant investment before they even start the actual work. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The actual crocheting process for these high-level pieces requires a level of concentration that's honestly hard to describe. Imagine doing detailed, repetitive movements with your hands for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Your fingers are moving in precise patterns, your tension has to stay consistent throughout the entire piece, because if you crochet too tightly in one section and too loosely in another, the whole thing can look uneven. One mistake 50 hours into a project might mean unraveling everything and starting over. And speaking of starting over, let me tell you about some of the most jaw-dropping pieces that are out there right now. There are artists creating life-sized animal sculptures entirely out of yarn. We're talking about elephants, giraffes, even whales that are so realistic you'd swear they were going to move. Every single hair, every wrinkle, every tiny detail is carefully crafted with nothing but a small metal hook and thread. Then you've got the fashion designers who are completely revolutionizing what we think clothes can be. These aren't your typical crocheted vests from the 70s. I'm talking about evening gowns with thousands of individually crocheted flowers, each one taking an hour to make. Jackets with geometric patterns so precise they look like they were created by a computer. Accessories that celebrities are wearing on red carpets because they're that gorgeous and unique. But here's what really gets me excited about this whole thing. The way these artists are playing with color is absolutely next level. They're not just using solid colors anymore. They're creating gradients that fade so smoothly from one shade to another that it looks like a sunset. They're combining unexpected color palettes that shouldn't work together, but somehow create these stunning visual effects. Some artists are even dyeing their own yarn to get the exact shade they need for their vision. Let's talk about some specific techniques that make these pieces so special. There's something called thread crochet, where artists use thread that's thinner than sewing thread and hooks that are barely bigger than needles. The result is lace so delicate and intricate that it looks like snowflakes frozen in time. Table runners, doilies, and decorative pieces that have hundreds of thousands of stitches in them. One artist I know of spent an entire year creating a single tablecloth. 365 days for one piece. Can you imagine that level of commitment? Then there's amigurumi, which is the Japanese art of crocheting small stuffed creatures. But these aren't just cute little toys. Artists are creating characters with so much personality and detail that they've become collectibles. Some of these pieces sell for hundreds of dollars because every tiny feature, from the little smile to the individual fingers, is perfectly crafted. The shaping required to make these three-dimensional figures is incredibly complex, and it takes years to master. And we can't forget about tapestry crochet, where artists are literally creating pictures with yarn. They're working from graphs, changing colors every few stitches, to create images that look like pixelated art, but with this amazing texture that you just can't get with any other medium. Portraits, landscapes, abstract designs, all done one stitch at a time. Now, here's the part that's really transforming the crochet world right now. Social media has finally given these artists a platform to show their work to millions of people. Suddenly, someone in a small town who's been creating incredible pieces in their home studio can share their work with the entire world. And people are responding. Videos of the creation process are getting millions of views because there's something absolutely mesmerizing about watching someone create something beautiful from just a simple strand of yarn. But with this visibility comes a new challenge. Fast fashion companies are seeing these designs and mass-producing cheap knockoffs. Someone spends months perfecting a design, shares it online, and within weeks there are factory-made versions being sold for a fraction of the price. It's heartbreaking for the artists, and it's making it even harder for them to make a living from their craft. What's amazing, though, is how the crochet community is fighting back. They're educating people about the difference between handmade and mass-produced. They're sharing their processes, showing the hours of work to go into each piece. And slowly, people are starting to get it. They're starting to understand that when you buy a handmade crocheted item, you're not just buying a product. You're buying hours of someone's life, their skill that took years to develop, their creativity and vision. Some of the price tags on these pieces might shock you at first. A dress for $1,500, a wall hanging for $800, a stuffed animal for $200. But when you break it down, when you calculate the hours worked and the cost of materials, these artists are often making less than they would at a regular job. They're doing it because they love it, because they can't not create. But they deserve to be compensated fairly for their incredible skill. The most beautiful thing about handmade crochet is that no two pieces are ever exactly the same. Even if an artist is following the same pattern, using the same yarn, their tension will be slightly different. Their personal style will come through. Each piece has the artist's energy woven into it, their mood on the days they were working, their hopes for what the piece will become. You can't replicate that with a machine. And let's talk about the sustainability aspect for a second, because this is huge. In a world where we're drowning in cheap, disposable products that fall apart after a few uses, handmade crochet items are built to last. I'm not exaggerating when I say that a well-made crocheted blanket can last for generations. There are families passing down crocheted heirlooms that are 50, 70, even 100 years old. These pieces get softer and more beautiful with time and use. The variety in what can be created with crochet is honestly endless. Home decor like pillows, wall hangings, plant hangers, rugs, clothing from delicate shawls to cozy sweaters, accessories like bags, jewelry, even shoes, toys and decorative items, functional pieces like dishcloths and market bags, art installations that hang in galleries. The only limit is the artist's imagination. What really sets apart the most beautiful crochet work is the attention to detail. These artists are thinking about every single element. How does the light hit the piece? What kind of drape does it have? How does it feel to touch? Is the color combination creating the emotional response they want? They're considering things that most people would never think about, and that's what elevates their work from craft to art. The future of crochet is incredibly exciting. Young people are discovering the craft and bringing fresh perspectives to it. They're combining traditional techniques with modern aesthetics. They're experimenting with unconventional materials like wire, raffia, and recycled fabrics. They're creating pieces that challenge what we think crochet can be. So the next time you see a handmade crocheted item, whether it's online or in a shop or at a craft fair, I want you to really look at it. Think about the hours that went into it. Appreciate the skill it took to create. Understand